Okay, so welcome back, Elaine, officially for another live session in the Art of Letting Go program. We're going to dive in to today's email as usual. So give me a moment. I'm just going to share my screen. We'll look at that, and it'll lead us nicely into today's lesson. We'll practice today's lesson and do a meditation to close the session. So let me share my screen with you. If you can read that headline quote from Gerald Massey for us, please.
They must find it difficult, those who have taken authority as truth, rather than truth as authority.
There's a picture of various right police lined up. So we take very profound quote. We take in this world, the delusion is we take the authorities of the world as the truth. And most people accept, that. I think we saw that demonstrated very clearly in COVID. Okay, so this is the what the media and what authorities like World Health Organization and so on are saying, so that must be the truth. But as Gerald Massey said, he wrote in today's quote, the truth is still the authority, capital truth, because the truth is eternal and unaffected by any false authorities in this world. Yeshua quite well addressed this in that famous quote where he was asked, well, should we pay taxes to Rome? That was the question. And his answer was, well, give me a coin. And the person gave him a coin, and he said, so, what's on the coin? He said, well, it's a head. He said, whose head is it? He said, it's Caesar's. He said, well, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and give unto God what is God's. That idea. So, that's the worldly authority. There's a structure there. So he didn't say don't pay your taxes to Rome because it's a false authority. He just said, well, what belongs to Rome is money. It's the material. So give that to it, but give honor to God in your heart and your mind. So Yeshua calls this apparent conflict between the authority of truth and the false authority of the ego or belief in separation that masquerades as truth in this world, the authority problem. And he breaks this apparent conflict down even further to the seemingly quite difficult choice between love and fear. But if we really look at it, is it really a difficult choice to make? Or is it just a matter of perceiving the alternatives clearly and making what then becomes an obvious choice? The perceived threats in the seemingly external world give rise to fear, which any truly honest person will admit feels heavy, contracted, limited, restrictive, and thoroughly unpleasant, if you're honest about it. Love, on the other hand, feels light, expansive, expanded, unlimited, liberating. So then we've got to ask ourselves, if there's such a dramatic difference between these emotions and feelings, the one feels so good, the other so bad, why do so many people still choose to live in fear if it feels terrible? The answer is because they haven't yet perceived the clear distinction between love and fear for themselves and understood that they can and ultimately must choose between them. No seeming authority in this world can force you to feel fear because it's always your choice how you respond to anything the so-called authority says or does. So that's the principle. So they can do whatever they want, and some of the authorities can do terrible things. We've seen, mass genocide, murderers. Think of the Nazis and what they did, Stalin and various other regimes in history. They've done horrible things on the level of form, for sure. But how you choose to respond to it is up to you. You don't have to believe them. You don't have to buy into their thought system, and you don't have to fear them, even if your life has been threatened. So even if a pseudo authority of this world threatens your life, your family, your your welfare, your everything, either directly or indirectly. For example, the medical so-called experts might tell you that you'll get very sick or die if you don't have a COVID vaccine. You come to realize, if you hadn't already, that you still have a choice about how to respond to this apparent threat. Right? You'll either respond out of fear, in which case you'd almost certainly choose to have a vaccine in this example, or you'll respond with love that simply denies fear exists and overlooks all the apparent justifications for fear in this world, such as viruses, diseases of any sort, pandemics, physical problems, lockdowns, economic recession, global warming, wars, etc., etc. The list goes on and on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So those who live in fear of the world will always disagree. You can honor all these things. You can say, oh no, you need to be really concerned and you need to, take all these preventive measures to keep yourself safe in the world that the ego recommends. And then in doing so, you honor your fear. This is what Yeshua talks about when he talks about defenses. And only in my defenselessness, my safety lies. So I'll only find this eternal safety if I drop my defensiveness. As long as I feel defensive, I'm going to live in fear. So those who choose to live in fear and be defensive will always disagree with those who choose to see it through the eyes of love instead. And those who choose to live in fear will always be manipulated by the authorities of this world, using fear and its equally ugly twin sister, guilt. You think of the COVID pandemic, there was a whole lot of fear. Well, you need to do this, otherwise there's these dire consequences. And there's also the guilt. If you don't do it, then you're kind of letting the whole team of humanity down. We all need to do this to get some kind of herd immunity. That was the argument, wasn't it? So guilt and fear were the emotions that underlay the propaganda that was there to induce you to take the vaccine. So those who choose love cannot be manipulated in this way because they see beyond the illusions of the material world to the eternal presence of life itself in themselves and in all living things. They know it always has been and always will be in them, and that cannot be harmed or destroyed in any way. So they lose all fear of apparent consequences in this world, knowing that no matter what happens on this level of form, their true eternal being remains unaffected forever. And this truth is the true authority that Gerald Massey speaks of in today's quote. The authorities of this world that tell you to fear and feel guilt for what you've done or not done are the false authority against which he contrasts the truth. Now, this is the theme of today's bonus interview with David Icke, so-called conspiracy theorist, who vocally opposes the authorities of this world, but is really using this as a vehicle to teach people to use adversity in their life to awaken to the truth. So that's the one I mentioned. Listen to it. Really interesting, his own awakening journey, how it all happened, how it unfolded for him, how he was guided. You see all the principles we've discussed, things like overcoming worry, overcoming other people's perceptions, tapping into the flow, synchronicities happening, to guide him on his path to do the work that he was called to do, and really awaken many people through the example, through the questioning of the so-called truth of the ego that this world presents. It's saying, well, if you can see it for what it is, that it's a lie, then you open yourself to the deeper truth, the spiritual truth that underlies the lie. But you have to see the lie first. Well, that's exactly what A Course in Miracles is teaching us to do, isn't it? See the illusions, the lie of the ego very clearly, so you're not deceived, and then you come to know the truth as an alternative to it, and then you let go of the illusion, to embrace the truth. Okay, so any thoughts or comments or questions on any of that, Elaine? No, you're muted, by the way. All right, so I'm going to move on to the lesson. You're still muted, by the way, in case you didn't know. So God being perfect love is also happiness. It leads us very nicely into the lesson, which is about happiness, and then the second one is about truth. Choose only what belongs to me in truth. All right, so let's dive in, shall we? If you
Yeah.
want to read some corners, this is lesson 117. We're on to another review lesson. You can read that in the original and the alternative kindly.
Yeah. God being love is also happiness. Let me remember love is happiness and nothing else brings joy. And so I choose to entertain no substitutes for love. And alternatively, God being perfect love is also happiness. Let me remember that love is happiness and nothing else brings joy. And so I choose to accept no substitutes for love.
Thoughts on that? Very simple, profound lesson, isn't it? But
Yes, but it's very nice. Yeah.
I
Very
think the
comforting.
key thing with this lesson is to remind us that love is happiness. They're the same. They're just different words pointing to the same thing. So if we have perfect love and we're in that state of awareness, then happiness will be there by default. So we don't have to seek happiness. We just have to seek love. That's it. We just have to seek and find and ultimately accept love, and everything will come from that. Our happiness is a natural consequence. Our joy, as he calls it, is a natural consequence of the truth of love. When we are in a state of perfect love, pure formless awareness of perfect love, and we accept no substitutes for love, that's the key thing. It's very easy to cover that over with substitutes. So as soon as you start fearing, you start worrying about worldly affairs, you're covering it over, aren't you? There's no longer perfect love, and your happiness will then be diminished accordingly. It's only when we accept the truth of perfect love and accept no substitutes, so we're willing to let go of everything else that substitutes for perfect love, that we can be happy. That's the simple teaching and message. Very clear cut, very unambiguous, saying this is the one path to be happy. This is the only way that you'll ever find any lasting happiness in this world, is find this loving awareness. And to find loving awareness, you must let go of every other kind of awareness, which is where the letting go comes in. Okay, so really simple and straightforward, but nevertheless hugely profound. If you just applied this lesson, you would be happy, wouldn't you?
You would? Mm-hmm.
To perfect happiness. God being perfect love is also heaven. Yeah. So it ties up the concept of God, associates it with perfect love, and says that this is the only thing that will make you happy. So it's the key to happiness, and that's all contained in one simple sentence of a few words, which is pretty amazing, really. It's just the application of it that's the challenge. All right, so then he goes to the second second review lesson. So if you can read that in the original and alternative as well.
I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Love is my heritage, and with it joy. These are the gifts my Father gave to me. I would accept all that is mine in truth. Alternatively, I choose only what belongs to me in truth.
So just pause it.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Notice what I've changed there. And it's subtle, but it's quite profound. So instead of I seek but what belongs to me in truth, I choose
Yes, yeah,
only.
that's better.
Subtle. Well, the first one tends to make us into seekers. Okay, I'm seeking the truth. That's a starting point for sure. Seeking the truth is better than not seeking the truth. That's where it starts. But the second, the way I've rephrased it is I choose only what belongs to me in truth, because it's that choice that activates the seeking. So I can choose it. I just seek it. I can actively choose it right now. So I'm no longer seeking it. If I choose it, then I'm saying I have it, I accept it. And that's a much more immediate, right? I can choose this right now. I could seek forever the truth and not find it, but choosing it implies that I can choose it right now. And that would be okay. That I choose only what belongs to me in truth right now, and I can do that. All right, so subtle point. And notice that I also capitalize. So truth, happiness, love, peace, joy. These are capitalized, whereas in the original they're not, because they are the same pointers. They're pointing you to the same domain as love. It's the same, it's a synonym for love. Love, peace, joy, happiness. It's a holy state of mind that deserves to be capitalized, because that's what God is, all of it. So that's and truth is just another one of those pointers to that ultimate transcendent reality. So that's hence the capitalization, to make it clear that you're pointing here to level one, the infinite, eternal, absolute reality, which I'll show you that in this diagram very quickly. Let's see, the Holy Trinity. It's probably gonna work. No. So we're pointing to this top level domain. God, Father, heaven, truth, oneness, being, the eternal. And so truth is there, happiness is there, love is there, peace is there, joy is there. These are all synonyms for the same thing. Hence it's capitalized. A pure state of mind without opposite, right? A non-dual awareness. That's what anything capitalized points to. Non-dual awareness is capitalized. The true self is capitalized because it's part of that, although the self can still perceive. So that's the intermediate level. And then anything down here is not capitalized. So awareness that's split, you say my awareness or my mind that's still got the idea of separation and separate self is small, to distinguish between the levels. So that Ken Wapnick calls that level one, the level of truth. This is level two, the level of illusion, which ultimately doesn't exist, but it seems to while you're in it. Okay, so just read. We didn't read. I seek only what we didn't read. This did we? Love is my heritage.
I choose only what belongs to me in truth. Love is my heritage, and with it joy. These are the gifts my source gave to me. I choose to accept all that is mine in truth.
Yeah, only translation there is Father becomes source. It's really just acknowledging that it's all ours, right? The key thing with this teaching, any perennial philosophy, is that it's already there. Everything's already there, and therefore you just need to accept it. There's nothing else that's required but to accept what is already there in truth. Much easier than seeking it. That's why I changed the seeking. Do you need to seek what's already there? Not really, do you?
No.
It's already there. It seems like a search, but actually it's already there. So how can you really search for what's already there within you? It seems like there's a search to start with, but then once you awaken, you realize it was always there. And it's kind of funny. So that's why one of the Zen sayings is enlightenment is a joke.
Yeah.
Because when you get it, you go, oh, I've been seeking all the time for what's already there. It's right under my nose. But I've been looking elsewhere.
Yeah, this sort of definition of awakening it's quite
Mm,
ambiguous, isn't it? Because I always think, oh, well, I'm not awakened yet because I haven't had that mystical, you know,
mm,
um, Satori moment. Because people say,
mm.
well, once you've had that, then you are awakened. But I do
Well,
realize that, there is a veil there, and there's no doubt when I let go, there is something else. So even
mm,
though I haven't had fireworks and Satori moments, obviously I've had the peace and joy.
mm.
So
Well, I
that's
mean,
the only thing is that's a bit ambiguous is this definition of what awakening is.
oh, exactly. So it's starting to realize the truth experientially. And so
Yes,
that you could say fireworks. Well, it actually doesn't feel like fireworks. It's just deeply peaceful.
yeah,
I think there's a whole load of misconceptions about, what it's going to be. I'm going to see visions and wonders and, angels and, if you
yes,
read the book of Revelation, you could, get very confused about like Jesus will come on
exactly, yes.
out of horses and it's all going to be very like dramatic and actually it's not that in my experience and it seems like
Well, to
many
say
experiences are.
once you've seen it, you know. So, for
Hmm.
example, you've seen it, so you know you're awakened. Whereas I'm in the situation where, yes, I can
Uh,
see it and I've felt it,
uh.
but I don't know whether I would actually say the word I am awakened.
No, but then can I say it, like because it's an ongoing journey while you're still human.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah,
I had a glimpse. I had a glimpse of it. I've had a
yeah,
number of
yeah,
glimpses of this
yeah, me
other
too. Yeah,
reality. It was wonderfully, it was wonderful and it was beautiful.
it's a bit
But does that mean I never get triggered and I never get irritated and
right. That's
upset
where
and
I'm
fear?
getting a bit
No, it does. There's still
analytical. Yeah, yeah, I'm getting too
things that were
analytical
right.
about it.
I've had that glimpse, but that doesn't mean that the ego is completely gone. It was just like a look into another reality, open the door and go, oh wow, and I, briefly enter that, and you go, that
Yes,
was
there's a oneness. People say that
amazing,
everything
transcendent.
is like a oneness, that they just see everything as just one. The
Hmm.
leaf, the bird poo, everything just becomes one. Well, I haven't quite I wouldn't say I've
Hmm.
quite seen it like that. I'm not, yeah, that's where I get a bit analytical. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a transcendent. I mean, the samadhi state is transcendent. You go into an awareness that's beyond this world, and there's no awareness of time or space. There's no form. So you can then come back, and if you're in perception, then you might perceive the underlying unity of everything. So you look
mm,
at the bird flu or the war or a disease or anything that's going on here, and none of it really affects you. I think that's really what
yeah,
this is saying. You're rooted in the deeper awareness, the transcendent awareness that is not affected by anything in the form.
yeah,
And again,
yeah,
there's this understanding about how this actually feels in practical terms. If you're awakened or awakening, well, if we'll just say you're awakening, it's an ongoing journey while you seem to be human. What does it actually feel like? And
hmm,
that's the journey we're all on. It's not theoretical or intellectual. It's
yeah,
experiential. I experience the truth moment by moment, even while I'm in the domain of perception. Can I experience this deeper truth
yeah,
and
yeah,
when I do, then I'm knowing the truth. That's what it means to know the truth, not just intellectually. Oh, there's a truth, and intellectually I know there's you
mm,
can
yes, that's
do that.
the
Intellectually, I
problem
know there
is
must be another truth, and I can argue, and then you're a theologian.
you're
That's a
going
starting.
through the thoughts. Yeah, yeah,
I think of my own development. Yeah, I kind of started there. It was very intellectual, very much in my mind. I kind of liked the ideas, the concepts. Like, yeah, it makes sense that there's another truth, and you start off at that point, and then you hopefully deepen into a more experiential knowing. But these kinds of experiences, like I had, kind of happen on the path to awaken you further to the knowledge, the direct knowledge and experience of this truth. That's what it's really all about. And it will come as you journey. So you get these glimpses, and you just trust that process, that whatever needs to happen will happen.
Yeah.
So just you're awake. Much more helpful to say, well, instead of I'm awakened, no, I'm awakening. I'm in a process.
Because I don't think
journey.
anybody's totally awakened,
Oh.
because as you say, the ego, even in the master gurus, they get ego moments.
Yeah.
So it's awakening moments or awakening periods.
Yeah, we're awakening, and anyone who's still human is awakening, because if they were fully awakened, they wouldn't be here anymore. Sort of self-evident.
Well, yes.
Full awakening would be, well, I leave, and I'm not in a body anymore, and I don't need to be in a body. The world's disappeared from me. That's full awakening. So that's the state Yeshua has attained. He doesn't have to come back into a body. He's just floating.
Yeah, he's fully awakened. Yeah, yes.
Spirit, and now able to teach us, fortunately, from that perspective, but knows what the illusion is all about, because he's been here, and he retains that knowledge, or that awareness in his mind of what the illusion's like, merely so that he can teach us. He knows it's not true, but if he lost all awareness of that, he couldn't teach anymore, could he? Because he wouldn't be able to meet us where we are. So almost his process, and any master's process that awakens, to fully awaken themselves, they have to bring everyone else with them. As long as the illusion seems to exist, then their awakening isn't fully complete. And so he's completing his awakening through the course, and through teaching others to join him. And when every mind has finally resolved the split, and let go of its insane belief that it's a separate self, then the at-one-ment will be complete. Then the ego will disappear, as will all of its projections. You might go, well, that's going to take a very long time. He does say, it might take millions, maybe even billions more years, because that's how long it's taken so far. But it doesn't have to for you. I think the key thing is, well, you awaken, and you can make the same choice he made, and you can make that completely, and you can join him in this awakened state as the Christ's awareness that's there to help humanity and all sentient beings in this world and in this universe to awaken.
Yeah.
That's
it's
you join in that great
it's
awakening.
that's a good definition. Yes. Just sometimes my analytical mind stops asking and going around in circles, when really you've made it. That's a good definition.
Well, we try and define it, don't you? You try and say, well, I'll get there. Nation.
Yes.
Ultimately, in eternity, you will transcend the body and all illusions, and the promise is that they will all disappear. But while you're in a human form, that's not gonna happen. Maybe every now and then you might have a revelation experience. Possibly that can happen, but then you'll come out of that and you'll come back into the body. So even enlightened beings like Ramana, he would go into samadhi for days and just be completely checked out of the world, but then he'd come back eventually.
Yeah. Why
The only way he knew, no passages, no idea of time. The only way he knew was that he would get up, and he'd get dizzy and he'd be weak because he hadn't eaten for days. But he didn't know how long he'd been sitting in his meditation. Just like, well, I'm just sitting, and it could have been days. 1 hour meditation or several days was the same, because there was no sense of time passing. But he would know by, okay, my body feels weakened because I haven't had food for days. So so that's sort of as about as enlightened as it gets in this world. Staying in samadhi for extended periods, and some of these mystics and gurus to have done that. But the course is not addressed at people like that. Those are very rare specimens of humanity. This course is for the average householder, living in a Western society that just wants to find more peace and happiness in their life.
But it's learning
and
to let go as well. It's the letting go quicker than you would normally. Like even after this carry on downstairs, I can feel a little bit of contraction, but I'm keep
yeah,
saying, let it go. Just even
yeah,
fake it, because
yeah,
the ego mind wants to go into, oh, bloody Dave, he's done it again. The
yeah,
ego mind
yeah,
off.
yeah.
Yeah, here we go
Right.
again.
Wants to blame. Wants to blame
And I'm,
someone.
yeah, and then of course I'm, yeah,
Yeah,
let it
yeah.
go, let it go.
Yeah,
Just
and that's the practice. So, you're
yes.
awakening. It's like you're failing, you succeeded. Yeah, you might go, well, I'm being triggered, and well, no, that's bad because the ego's still there. No, but looked at correctly, no, you're
Hmm.
you're you're in the process of correcting that. So yes, it's
Yeah.
going to come in, it's going to tempt you,
Hmm.
but you're resisting it, and you're saying, no, I'm gonna counter it with the Holy
I want to
Spirit
let that
of
go. Yes.
letting go. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And
Yeah.
that's what he's asking us to do. He's saying, yes, of course the ego is going to come in and you're going to be
Hmm.
tempted over and over again. But if you can keep making the choice to let it go, you're making the right choice, the right-minded choice of the
Yes.
Holy Spirit. And that process, if you carry on doing that for years, will ultimately awaken you fully. You'll get,
Hmm.
more and more in tune with spirit and source, and it will prepare you to finally lay down the body. And at that point, if your mind is corrected and healed, there's no need to come back and have another lifetime in
Round.
another body.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's happened, progressively and systematically over years of corrections. You live in the correction or the miracle. And when these things happen, as they will, you
Yes.
correct. You make those corrections quickly and ideally, relatively easy. Once you get the hang of it, it's easier
Oh,
to
yes.
do. The distance is
And it's
less.
and it is tuning into that sort of knowing side of you rather than the ego side, because
Yeah.
ego just here we
Yeah,
go
the ego
again.
just wants to react, doesn't it? It just wants to
Yes. Yeah. It's
react,
really
protect, and angry and blame,
blame.
and it's just
Yes.
terrible.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
just a disaster, really.
it is. It is.
The reactions are really ridiculous when you look at them. But
It
that's what
is.
the temptation is, to believe
Mm.
that and then indulge it and go, okay, yeah, I'll feel, I'll allow myself to feel angry and upset and blame and and that's just indulging the ego if you choose that, and then you're choosing
Yeah.
the
Oh,
ego
yes.
suffering. If
But
you
I can see it's trying to get in there, but no,
yeah
I choose
yeah
my true awareness, and
yeah
that yeah. So I'm I'm sort of doing a little bit
what
of
belongs
flip
to
flopping,
you.
but yes, I'm
Yeah,
not going to go down that road.
yeah, good. So, and that's all the course is asking you to do. That's that
Yes.
simple correction, the willingness to listen to the Holy Spirit, to make the corrections as and when you need to. That's the whole practice. That's all he's asking us
Mm.
to do. Well, that's doable. I can do that. Yeah, I going into samadhi and these kinds of you listen to the likes of Ramana and you go, well, I'm not even close to that. Well, very few people are. It doesn't
Mm.
mean that you're not awakening. You are. You're just in your own process and your own journey
Yeah.
with that.
Yes.
And you've got to work out your own awakening. For you, the path is not to go and renounce the world and be a mystic and meditate and
No.
go
No.
into.
No.
No,
Household.
it's to learn your lessons in the world as a householder. And
Mhm.
the beauty of that path is that you will get those lessons. They come thick and fast,
Oh,
don't
yes.
they?
Oh, you're
Because
not
you've got
kidding.
set up, life is set up to give you those lessons.
Yes, of
You live
course.
living with someone who's elderly and getting dementia, and you've got an
Mhm.
Airbnb, and you've got you very and kinds of issues come up with all of those engagements
Yes.
in the world used to happen, and
Yeah.
then those are the lessons. So
So it's
that's
letting
yes, just
go.
fix that.
Hmm.
That's your path. That's your way out. Don't try and run
Yes.
away from that. Just
No.
embrace
No.
it. Let go while while these things are happening,
Yeah.
and that's how you can do this in the world, and these things arguably are more helpful than isolating yourself for 20 years and meditating in a cave. He even
Mm.
says that. He says, the means are tedious and time consuming. No, actually, you can
Get to the
really
root.
collapse. by confronting it daily and letting it go as these things arise, which is what you're doing.
Yeah, and just have no control. Yeah, because I used to be a bit of a like to be in control. Well, these lessons have definitely been given to me to lose that control because I
Okay,
had
yeah.
no idea that the Airbnb
No,
would be on fire.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
The
just
only
no, yeah,
control you have is over your decision. Okay, do I choose to react to this or do I
yes,
choose to let it go? I can't control the circumstances and events.
no,
If you try to do that, that's just you get into fear big time. You can't
well,
control that, but you can always control your reaction to whatever happens.
yes.
Everything that
I
really
mean,
is in your control.
the only thing we haven't got is insurance. Can you imagine if it had burnt down? We haven't got any
Oh, you don't
insurance
have
for it.
insurance.
No,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
that might be a good idea.
Yeah,
But
maybe. Yeah.
yes, might be a good idea. So that's, yeah,
I
you
guess your
suppose
insurance was the Holy Spirit in this case.
it was, yes, yeah. So interesting.
Gave
Yeah,
you
so
the guide to stop the disaster. But just be guided.
yeah,
Should I do that? And don't do it out of a sense of fear. Do it out of a
no,
sense of if that feels right. I'll go with it.
yeah,
All right, so
definitely.
I'm aware of the time.
Yeah.
Let's
Mhm.
crack
Oh
on
yeah,
the. I'm going to go in about 15 minutes, so
yeah,
let's crack on, shall we?
yeah.
So short meditation. Okay, so this is a meditation on today's lesson, 117, which is a review lesson containing 2 ideas. So just making yourself comfortable, closing your eyes, sitting with your feet shoulder width apart, your back straight, cup your hands in your lap, palms facing upwards on your thighs if you prefer, and close your eyes. Start off with a nice deep breath in through the nose, breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Just say the first review idea for today, that God being love, God being perfect love, is also happiness. And just breathe in that love and that happiness, saying that they are one and the same thing. Yeshua says, let me remember that love is happiness. They're the same and nothing else brings joy. So you're inviting love and joy into your awareness with the breath. Let it infuse every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. And if you notice anything else, just observe that. Say, I choose to accept no substitutes for love. Might be a bit of fear, a bit of irritation about what happened with the Airbnb going on fire, and anything else. Just notice that, breathe into it, and invite this alternative to all of that. Perfect love, a loving awareness that's calm, peaceful, tranquil, and really doesn't acknowledge any of these problems. And in that state, you'll naturally experience joy or happiness. So embrace the love, embrace the joy, the happiness, accept it as your right. You're worthy of this. This is your divine right. And nothing else will work. Nothing else brings joy. So I choose that, and so I choose to accept no substitutes for love. And then just have a sense of blowing out any of these substitutes for love. So you exhale out through your mouth, blowing it all out. It's going, gone. All the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And we rest. In this loving awareness. God being perfect love is so happiness. Feel naturally the happiness arise. And so in doing this, what you're doing is seeking or choosing, more accurately, only what belongs to you in truth. Say, I choose only what belongs to me in truth. Not sometime in the future, but right now. Breathe in again on that powerful idea. I choose only what belongs to me in truth. Say, love is my heritage. And with it, joy. These are the gifts my source gave to me. Accept these gifts now. Love, peace, joy, it's all available for you right now, in your experience right now. Choose to accept all that is mine in truth. These are the gifts my source gives to me. Present moment, it's happening right now, and I choose to accept all that is mine, truth. So that I choose to accept all that is mine in truth. Choose to accept all that is mine in truth. It's quite a statement. It's there for you. It's waiting for you. It's there, just your acceptance has been missing. So accept it now. Feel the love, this perfect love, the love that is not of this world, it's unconditional, that loves you and everyone unconditionally, without any reserve, without any judgment. And the joy that this brings you, feel a sense of being uplifted in your mind and your heart. You smile because you are loved eternally. And you are therefore happy eternally. And nothing can disturb this state. None of the illusions the ego has made can touch this sacred state of loving awareness. So just for a couple of minutes, surrender into this. There's nowhere else to go. No other thoughts are necessary. Nothing else to think about. You drop the past and the future into the eternal present moment and experience the perfect love and the joy that are there for you in this sacred state, in this holy instant, in the present moment, now. So just breathing in and out through your nose and observe the breath while you do this. Keep your mind attuned to the truth, experientially known, not an intellectual, theoretical, abstract truth that's far removed, but a truth that you know in your own awareness, in your experience right now of the love and the peace and the joy and a feeling that you can't even describe. Just allow yourself to have that feeling, let that feeling arise, let it wash through you, wash over you, immerse yourself in it, surrender to it. This is what it means to surrender fully to God. So do that for the next couple of minutes of deep, blissful silence. So just gently coming back now into an awareness of your body and the breath, the senses and the world. And on the count of three, you're going to open your eyes. So one, just breathing in, and you notice how the stomach rises and the chest rises and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. And you pause at the top of the inhale. You scan your mind and you see anything that is annoying you, any difficulties, anything that disturbs your peace and your happiness. And remind yourself that God, being perfect love, a state of loving awareness, is also happiness. And this is the truth that you choose right now. So exhale and just blow all of that unhappiness away. Whatever that thought or feeling is, imagine it's like a dark cloud or black smoke, and you just exhale it all out, blowing it away with the breeze of your breath to the nothingness that it really is. It's going, gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out, and just rest in this deeper awareness, in a state of true awareness, state in which you experience the love and the happiness that belongs to you in truth. In which there's only this loving awareness. Anchor the state in, the intention to stay here for the rest of the afternoon and evening and the weekend ahead. You can remind yourself of this lesson, either lesson. She recommends you remind yourself of each lesson at least once an hour. So every half an hour. God, being perfect love, is also happiness. That only needs to take a few seconds. And likewise, I choose only what belongs to me in truth. So it is said, and so it is done. That will keep you in a state of loving awareness and happiness no matter what happens, and connected to the truth that sets you free. So it is said, so it is done. And now on the count of three, open your. So just looking around, open your eyes and just going back into this world, looking around, noticing whatever's around you in this very calm, clear, connected state of awareness. So notice that this loving awareness is still there. It underlies all of your sense perceptions. It's there, whether you are thinking about it consciously or not. So there, underlying every object. Look at whatever objects. Close your eyes. You drop into this awareness. Open your eyes. And notice that it's the same awareness. This loving awareness, that is the truth, is always with you. That's really all the lesson's trying to teach us. So stay rooted in that awareness. Use the lesson to help you do that. Ideally practice it, practice each lesson every hour. So one on the hour, one on the half hour, even if it's just reminding yourself for a few seconds about it, to go back into this awareness. The idea is just to keep topping yourself up, reminding yourself of this awareness, especially if any any falsity comes in. You can remind yourself, God, being perfect love, is also happiness, and I choose only the truth, only what belongs to me in truth in this situation. And that helps you to let go of any disturbance to your peace. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the meditation and of the session. Thanks, Elaine. So,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
connected evening. I hope this has helped you to manage whatever's arising.
Yes, it's helped. It does, always does. Thank you.
Flow for the
Keeping
evening
in flow.
and I will see you again on Sunday maybe or Monday. You gonna make Sunday
Either
evening?
or. Yeah, either or, yes. Whichever suits.
Yeah.
See how it goes, yeah.
Okay. I'll yeah, I'll run a Sunday session if you want to join. Otherwise, Monday.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm doing a session with John, so it would have to be Monday afternoon later at about 2:30. If that works, or in the evening. So maybe
Evening's probably better at the moment because there's bits and bobs going on, yeah.
hmm,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
let you know.
not really sure. It's a bit too far ahead. I can't really
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I'll look see,
I'll
yeah, on Telegram. Yeah.
okay.
Have a
Thank
nice
you.
weekend. Thank
All
you.
right. You too. Thanks.
Namaste. Bye.
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 All right. So that's a wrap for today. Thank you to Elaine for joining, and you enjoyed the live stream, then head over to lifepool.com and you can sign up to receive some of the information I shared up front, the daily quote and lesson, some commentary, and usually a short mini meditation on the lesson or two. I send that via Telegram free. So go to lifepool.com. You can see the spelling of that, or there's a URL below in the comments box. To sign up and take the next step. You can also subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this, and you'll be notified by YouTube whenever I go live, which is 4 or 5 times a week. So take the next step in your awakening. I hope to connect with you on the inside soon. Thanks for watching, listening, and namaste, which means the truth in me acknowledges and honors that same truth in you. So you match love, peace, and joy and happiness in that truth.